Welcome to the Agents of the Unexplained podcast. From a haunted abandoned asylum to Sasquatch lurking in the dark woods and watching you, and all things unexplained, here are the stories from outside our realm. With your host, Bill Rigby.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we got John and April. I wasn't advertising because I forgot to ask John if she's going to make it to be on the show, but she's going to be here too. They are the Midnight Squatchers. They do some great research. I got some pictures to show you, some of the stuff they come up on. It's going to be very, very interesting to see all this stuff. I will bring them on now and introduce them to y'all. Hello, there they are, the Midnight Squatchers. I love it. John Montoya, April Gable. I've been watching you guys for a little while, and finally I messaged you, say, "Hey, John, you'd like to come on my podcast?" Because I'd like to get your word on things too, because you guys do a lot of research.
Yeah, we're out and about as much as we can be. I work part-time, so it gives me a little flexible schedule to do that. But we try to hit the woods as much as we can down here in southern Minnesota and other parts when we can get up there, during the nicer months, summer months.
You're right, exactly. And the thing is, it's great. And it's definitely great. Dave Rupert says, "It's not midnight."
How's it going, brother?
Do you know who Dave Rupert is?
I do. I see he's on my Facebook page. I've never met him personally, but Facebook friends, definitely, yes.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Sandy Lincoln says hi to you and April.
Hello.
And my man Dave Rupert, he's going to be a smart ass all night long, I see.
Hey, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I love him and his wife. They're both great researchers also.
Awesome.
And actually, with all honesty, I'm very happy to say this, that they are going to be one of my speakers at my conference at the end of March.
Oh, awesome!
Awesome. Oh, they got a lot of info they can share. And
how's the weather going to be out there that time of year for you guys?
Who in the hell knows? It's end of March. We could have 12 inches of snow, or we could have last year about 2:00. We had straight line winds over 100 miles an hour come rushing through, knock power out for an hour and 40 minutes. But it turned around and the people never left. They stayed there. Dan Hagman was up speaking about aliens, and no one left.
Oh,
nobody left. They all stayed and listened.
They weathered the storm then.
Yes. But it was a hell of a conference, though. But anyhow, let me see. I'm going to bring something up here. Let me scroll back up here. This print.
Oh, yes.
How big is it? I don't see no measurement.
No, I didn't. I snapped a picture of that quick. It's about 12 inches, not very big. It's just a little bigger than my 11-inch foot down by Riverside. And I only found that one kind of stepping out by a river where we go down and research. And it just was there. And I thought, that's kind of crazy. It just don't make any sense.
Just the one.
Just the one, and it's only one. There's grass, the mud, and then the river. So where it came and where it went, I have no clue, but it was interesting.
What time of year was that?
This was probably towards late, like you're thinking probably about September, late September. So I don't know. It just was interesting.
The other thing, too, is a trackway myself and Brenda Sproul found. It was March, a couple of years ago, going on 3 years ago. And it was near our lake, that went for over 100 yards.
No kidding. Wow.
The French was 14 inches. The spread was 4.5 to 5 feet from toe to heel. It was about 7 inches wide, and I was 170 pounds, and I stepped next to it, and it did not sink in as deep.
Right, right.
And
I've heard this before. I mean, it's crazy.
This looks pretty damn deep, but it can be pretty muddy right there too.
Yeah, it is. It is. It was a little muddy, but it just was interesting, and it kind of looked a little odd. But you know, I didn't say it was a big footprint. I just thought maybe it's a possibility, just the way it looked.
Yeah, we can't say for sure for anything.
No,
unless we see him doing it.
Right, right. For sure.
Yeah, you know, and I know you've been going at this for a while, so me saying that has no bearings towards you. It's toward that other people know.
Sure.
We can't just say that stuff.
Inconclusive. I always say, unless I've seen this creature or people, whatever they may be, actually step across and make this sprint, then I can say, hey, I've seen this. But yeah, they're all speculation. It's just, you know, it's curiosity. I think all evidence is great evidence. Yeah. I don't like to throw anything out. I like to analyze it.
Yeah.
And collect it, you know.
Exactly.
See where it goes.
I agree 110%. Well, you already know, and a lot of the people out here know from me saying I was in the hospital last week, and so I'm taking 6 weeks off. What you know, as soon as I take time off, we get this snow, and I want to go out tracking.
Well, it makes you can see visible tracks in the snow. That's one of the best times to find them, though.
Yeah, but I didn't do it. But you know, the thing is, I'm taking this 6 weeks off before my conference get totally healed up because I've been sick on and off all winter, and it's killing me to sit around. But I got to do it. I'd rather be out in the woods like you guys get.
Well, thank God you're feeling better and get a speedy recovery, and health is number one. I mean,
yes, it
you don't have your health.
What you know that personally too.
Yeah, I've been dealing with some issues. Yeah. Been dealing with a few issues over the years, and recently, a rash that is a fungi rash. I don't know where it came from. I was talking to a few people today and noticed I had little, specks on my face. I'm like, supposed to be cleared up with this medication, but it ain't. So I'm just going to keep pushing away, and the medication ain't nice to you. So we'll have to just keep plugging away. But I don't care what happens. Until I'm in a wheelchair, I'm going to keep, and even at that, I'll keep getting in the woods one way or another.
I'll push you.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll push me. Yeah, there you go.
April, I can see you doing that.
I can. I will.
I can see you doing that. Oh, my.
Until we see the big hairy man, then she'll just leave me there and run off probably.
No,
I'm just kidding.
She'll probably shove you at him.
Yeah.
But yeah, seriously though.
Yeah.
I got other medical issues going on, and then I'm getting checked out for. But that's not going to stop me either, John.
That's good. That's good to hear. Because I mean,
that ain't going to stop me. Getting out in the woods is my solace. And I'm very fortunate to get out a week ago this past Sunday. I got out with Les O'Dell from West Virginia and Jamie King. And we hiked. We hiked. Yeah, but cool. It was, and I enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah, it's therapeutic. When you get out in them woods, there ain't nothing like it. I don't care where it's at. You just disappear out there. It's quiet. You hear the animals, the wildlife, the birds.
Exactly. It's not just about finding the Bigfoot.
No.
It's about seeing the rest of the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
The beauty of it all.
100%.
Yeah.
That's just an added feature when you get a howl or find a print or see a quick blur go by and say, what was that? And you get you a little spooked. But it's just fun. I love being out there. And I pull around, since I was a kid and, do a little ghost hunting. I seen an apparition when I was 7. So I do believe there's ghosts because I've seen one. I know Bigfoots. Yeah, they exist. I've seen one of them too. weird stuff in the sky. I'm into anything that goes bump in the night, as I said on many podcasts.
Yeah.
But the Bigfoot lore, that's me. That's
Yeah.
what I enjoy.
I'm into it all too, and I'm very open-minded to it all. But Bigfoot is my big thing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got to tell you something right now, which kind of it really made me like, wow, this morning. I took my two youngest grandsons to school. The oldest one's home with the influenza B.
Oh,
So I had to go in and get his homework. The secretary recognized me from my conference, the podcast, and Facebook. She said, "You are the Bigfoot guy."
Cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, but I'm not in it to be famous. I'm in there to learn. And like you guys get out a lot. Is that the same print?
That's a different one. That's the one we found on the trail. There was a few. That's the best one I could see. Again, I got a size 11 shoe. It's a little wider in my shoe, so that one I have shown a few people, and some big names. I won't name them now, but that's been around the circuit for a long time. I just asked them, "What do you think?" They go, "Looks pretty much what we were looking for." So they said that one looked impressive to them. I said, "Well, it's still inconclusive to me. I didn't see who made it, but it looks very interesting."
Well, you said you've seen one.
Yes, I have. Back in the mid-'90s. I never thought I'd ever run into one. I mean, it's a chance encounter for anybody to even see one in their lifetime. So, in the mid-'90s, I did run into one of these hairy, tall figures. I don't know what they are. I'm still learning as everybody else. I have my theories, but it was every bit of 9 foot tall.
Theories, but yes. But the other thing, too, is that, you saw yours back in the mid-'90s.
Yes.
It's going to be 3 years this August. I seen mine. And mine was 15 feet away from me.
Ooh.
Oh.
Pretty close.
That's not what I said.
No, I bet. I bet.
And it was a shocker. And it was at Salt Fork State Park in Ohio. I know you guys have heard of it. That's one of the biggest sighting areas in Ohio.
It is. I've been seeing a lot of reports from there, Bill. Reading a lot of reports. I've never been there. I'd like to get up there one of these times.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't expect to see one. I really didn't. And that was the first night there, ever there. We went hiking, and there it was. And it's like, scared the living crap out of me. And
It's a hair-raising experience, I'll tell you that.
Mike Bennett was with me, and so was Debbie Craigie. And Debbie was looking off to the left because we had little stones or nuts getting tossed up at us.
Mm-hmm.
And I went ahead of them about 90 paces, kneeled down, start adjusting the scope to look down the trail. And out of the corner of my right eye, I saw a little movement, and I turned and looked. I'm adjusting the thing like this, looking this way, and there it was, right inside the tree line.
Wow.
Knelt down, leaning in, looking at me. And scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah, I mean,
I will not deny it. It scared, and I don't get scared. I get startled. I don't get scared.
Yeah.
But that scared me. So,
Bill, I'm the same way as you. It takes a lot to scare me, but what I've seen that night in the Redwoods back in the mid-'90s, 97, especially out in the desolate little logging road, it's just enough to fit one car down. Once in a while, you get a little pull off or someone go by, but it's not traveled much. It's just one that's it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, people do go up and down there. I'm sure there's a few houses here and there sparsely on that hill, but or mountain, not a hill, it's a mountain. But what I'd seen that night was every bit of 9 foot tall, over 4 foot wide. And, and I don't know if you want me to go into the story or not, but we were just, I ain't going to go, through what we did every 5 minutes, but we were just out and about, just doing what I do. Let's just take a cruise and throw a couple beers in the back of in the back of the thing. We'll just take a cruise. I wasn't drunk. We just had one or two on the way here and there as we stopped. And it was getting to about 1:32 in the morning. I said, we better start going back down the hill and make our way back because I want to get home. I got stuff to do tomorrow. And I was with a friend, and we're going around this part of the redwoods, and it's real thick in there. I mean, just dark. And we're going around a part where it kind of V'd and turned to a corner. Then it kind of was a little teeny straightaway there, about maybe a couple hundred feet. Right. And it was sparsely, it wasn't real wooded in that area, like a little creek come down. It was kind of opened up a little bit. So it was a bright moonlit night, which is another thing that I noticed, that both my sightings happened on a bright moonlit night. And most of my, or other stuff that's happened has been usually close to a full moon. It's strange, at least on my experiences. So we had pulled over, after a while before we got down the hill, and we both had to use the restroom. So I said, I'll pull up here and get off. And we got off to use the restroom, and it's straight down, maybe about 500 feet, and goes straight up the mountain on the other side. So you're on the edge of a mountain here, driving around it. And my friend, when we walked about 10 foot away from the car and was doing our duty, and he looked up, and my nickname's JD. And he just pointed straight up and started going, and started stuttering. And this guy don't stutter. And I looked at him and I go, what? And I'm trying to figure out what he's pointing at. So, you look up, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing in the moonlight. It was just a backlit. You couldn't make no figure, but you could tell it was hairy and just all lit up. And it was the widest, tallest animal, creature, person, whatever it was that I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. It was just humongous. And I think I told you on the phone that, my dad used to go to a lot of wrestling events, and he knew a lot of wrestlers personally. And I met Andre the Giant as a kid. He used to go up and put his hand on me and say, "Little Montoya," and when I've seen Andre, and this thing made Andre look like a midget to me. I mean, this thing was massive. Just humongous. The size of the shoulders, and then there was no head really, just like a little bump for a head, just like a little knot on it, just all just girth, just shoulders. But when I looked up, and we were having the rest of our beer, I had about this much of the beer bottle. I had a long neck bud. He had already went to the car, which I didn't even look at him. I was fixated on this tall creature. And this all happened 15, 20 seconds. It was quick, but it seems like a lot longer than that when you're looking at this. I remember looking up, and to my mind, I was thinking it's got to be, in a brief moment later, I'm just thinking it's got to be something to it. So I don't know why or what possessed me to do this, but I just yelled and said, "Hey," like that. And I threw that beer bottle up as hard as I can, and it went about 10 feet and clanked. And this thing was just swaying back and forth and grunting. And it started grunting and deep guttural grunts. And I know of something swaying like that from watching wildlife programs and the Wild Kingdom, especially an ape or something.
You were pissing him off.
Yeah, it wasn't happy with me.
No.
Yeah.
So, and then I heard crunching, and I really couldn't see movement, but I sounded like it was walking slowly towards me. So, and this was all within about 100 feet from me. It wasn't very far away. So I turned.
100 feet still too close for me.
Yeah,
and I had mine at 15, and yet 100 feet still too close. Right.
So I turned and started. I didn't run. I just walked. It was only 10 foot away. I had a Toyota pickup. I made it back to the vehicle real quick. Got in there, started up, and went down the hill and just got the hell out of there. Now, because I was scared, and the only thing I can say is, and I think we talked on the phone about that as we made our way down the hill, and I could only go 10 to 15 miles an hour because you ain't going to go 30 miles an hour on this bumpy log road and you go over the cliff. I didn't look back. I didn't want to look back. I just drove down the hill. We got maybe about 15 minutes down the hill, 20 minutes, and didn't even say nothing to each other. I just wanted to get down the hill, and I realized my window was open. I didn't even roll up the window. And that's how scared I was. I just got in and motored, said, "Hell with it, I'm out of here."
Yeah.
My friend was sitting there, and he was still in shock, and he had told me, I forgot to button my pants up and kind of a little wet down there. I think it scared the bejesus out of him, but he was already in the truck before I was. And he asked me, "What the heck was that?" And I go, "Well, it looks like you just seen what I always come up here looking for." And he was in shock, and I was too. And I'd never thought I'd ever see something like that.
Yeah.
You know, it just the size of it still to this day. Now I tried to get April. I told her we're going to go down there. I want to show you where I've seen this thing, and it takes a while to get up to that side of the mountain and then go back down. In my hometown, and it's dark out there. I mean, you ever been in the redwoods at all at night? I used to go up there all the time and never be scared, and I still really ain't. But that one road, I tried to take her down. There was Halloween night in 2018. I was going to go take a drive. I never made it down that road. I got about 2 car lengths in, did a U-turn, said, nope, ain't doing it.
I told him it wasn't a good idea to do that.
It's like you got PTSD. I can go anywhere in the woods. You can go out with me down southern Minnesota.
I still got PTSD from my sighting, yes. And Bill Pill from Sasquatch Outpost up there on the Chestnut Ridge here in Pennsylvania says, wow, that's an incredible sighting. And it is. That is an incredible one.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, that would scare you.
Mm-hmm.
But you're as a crazy SOB throwing a beer bottle at it.
Well, you know, whatever possessed me to do that, and you are absolutely 100% right. Whatever possessed me to even say hey and throw that. I mean, most people would be out of there.
No kidding.
Here I am, like a little kid, going, "Hi, how you doing?" No, I don't know why I did that. I just threw it up, thinking I'm gonna scare it or do. I don't know what I was thinking. Don't ask me.
All right. Let me say this. April.
Yes.
He's crazy.
Yeah, I know that.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
She told me we were down in the research area one night. I was bent on getting one of our trail cams back.
Yeah.
We didn't reach it. I said, I'm going to go down that creek and get it. It was about 3:30 in the morning. I walked a half mile, went down there and went to pick it up until I started hearing movement up in the top of this rock-faced area down by the creek. And I think I might have caught something snapping pictures. I didn't see it then, but something was flanking me. And I was singing every tune that I can think, and I don't remember what they were, just to make noise and walk right up that hill again until I got back to the campsite.
And I heard him I was hearing him on his way. I told my friends that were with me, I said, we got to go back down there pretty soon if he doesn't show his butt pretty soon. You know?
But getting back that crazy, here I am going straight down the hill by myself.
Yeah.
I got this. I don't think I'm going to be doing that too much no more.
No, you're not.
Getting a little older. You know,
Yes, you're catching up to me. We are getting older, brother. But you know what? There's times I can do that. I can just go straight on in. Don't bother me a bit.
Right.
Other times since that sighting, not every time, but other times, I get scared, and that's unreal to me because it took me 62, 63 years to get scared.
Right.
In my life, and I've been in some really hairy situations. Never scared me.
Yeah, when you see these creatures, how big and massive they are, and you're right, it changes your whole way of thinking. And I still can't believe that there's something on this earth that big and massive that's walking our forest, which I always believed in them. I always thought they could be real, but never thought in my wildest dreams that I would ever in my lifetime run into one. And not once, but twice.
Yes, and well, I only seen it once. And the thing is, like you said, we always believed, but never knew. And say, oh, yeah, they're here. And you're out in California. So California, Washington, Oregon. Yes, they're out there. They're not in Pennsylvania. They're not in Ohio. Oh, boy, am I wrong. Whoa, am I ever
That
wrong.
was kind of the belief, back even in the 70s, watching the Patterson film on,
Yes.
you always think, well, they got to be way out in the middle of the forest when you grow up as a teenager, kid, whatever, watching all these shows. Now that we have enlightened to the situation, hell, they're closer to, suburban areas than we think. They're all over. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've taken reports of them being in the suburban area, almost coming into town. I actually took a dogman report on the outskirts of my town here, and I live in a small town. And 3/4 to a mile away from me was a dogman.
That's interesting. That's because we had a sighting.
It was traveling along the river, though. That went up to the. But the thing is, a dog man, Really? No.
And I
I
still
ran
don't know.
into a Bigfoot. That scared me enough. I don't know what my heart might not take a dog man.
No, they're. I mean, from what you've probably heard and I've heard, and I've never seen one either, but they don't seem like they're very friendly at all.
Mm-mm.
I heard both ways. They'll ignore you or they're very mean.
Right.
They'll look at you and just blow you off.
Well, I'll tell you, Bill, we live in a small town, as you know. It's 550 people. When I moved here, I'm from a small town in California, which is 74,000 people. So I moved here in 2000. I thought, hey, I found Mayberry finally. Where's Opie? But
yes.
I over the years here, I've really grown to it. You can fly out whenever I want. It's just a hub. But about 6 years ago now, I'm in the sales and marketing, so I see a lot of people. I run into a lot of managers, a lot of people in stores from the Twin Cities down the Iowa border. So I know a lot of people. I've worked for 7 up 8 years, so I know a lot of people.
Right.
And one guy always used to mock me. He was a younger kid, probably about 38. He's probably 44 now, maybe 45, whatever he is. But he used to always make fun. He knew I was in that. You believe in that BS, and there ain't ghosts, there ain't aliens, there ain't none of that junk. You're chasing fairy tales. You're looking for the bucket of gold, by a rainbow too, probably, And well, his grandma lives 3.5 miles. We have a state park 3 miles from our house. In my backyard's nothing but fields, old highway, ponds, fields, rivers, and then a state park. And on this side, you got a new highway, a river, and then more farms. So we're just sitting in the middle of nowhere, basically.
Right.
We got Rochester, Minnesota, the Great Mayo Clinic, which I love being close because, I have some medical, needs. That's a half-hour away, and then the next town's about 15, 20 miles away. So we're kind of middle of everything. But his grandma had a 100-acre little farm out here, close to the state park, about 3.5 miles out. Well, one day I was in there, and he looked kind of spooked a little bit. And he goes, "Can I talk to you?" And I thought, oh, man, this kid, maybe something's going on. He looked serious, like he had some issues or something. So he was a produce manager. So I went into the back, room there, in the back, where they receive stuff.
Right.
Nobody's down. He goes, I want to tell you something I seen on the way home the other night, coming from my grandma's out by Rice Lake State Park. And I go, "Oh, you seen a Bigfoot finally, right?" He goes, "No." And I go, "Alien?" He goes, "Just wait a minute now." He goes, "I was driving home about 10:30 at night, and I was coming down before you get to the state park there, and the corn was up. This is September, so it's still up. And he told me, he goes, and something crossed the road in front of me." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "And it was on 2 legs." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "But it had the head of a wolf, long snout, long arms." Not very, it looked muscular, but not like you tell me your Bigfoots, and it looked more sleek, but, muscle build, coyote-like looking dog legs backwards, and it ran right across from my headlights, looked at me, went down the ditch, went up by the corn, turned around, and it was as tall as a corn almost. And it turned around, he said 7 foot, maybe a little over that, and it turned around, looked at me, and it snarled at me, and it had glowing red eyes and a long snout with rows of just fangs and teeth looking at me. When he said that, I knew he wasn't, telling me no BS, because this guy don't believe in it anyway. And that's what really intrigued me, because this guy, even though he's a kid, he's not going to just come out of the blue. And I go, "What'd you do?" He goes, "I slowed down to look at it. And when I got a good look at it and snarl at me, I got the heck out of there." He goes, I still go out and see my grandma, but I don't like going out there too late at night. I will, but I always, that's always in my mind. And I told him, I like sitting out back. I got a swing out back facing the old highway in the field. And when the corn's up, you can't see nothing. And we sit out there in the summer nights and have a beer and sit around and have a fire. I go, "You tell me that when I'm sitting out by the cornfield, now I got to keep my eyes open on that?" I go, "Thanks a lot," but I was really intrigued by the sighting. And I was so intrigued, I had him come out to the parking lot and tell April the same story. So he explained the whole thing to her again. And that was very interesting.
Yeah, it was.
And I think it's a dog man. That's all I could say. He said it looked like a werewolf.
Sound like it. Definitely sound like a dog man. I know we had that dog man sighting, and It's right on the edge of town, and that just totally blows my mind.
Right.
But Jamie King took one in the city of Farrell, which is just right south of us. Sharon Farrell's right next door to each other, and it was up in the one street. And the river goes through Farrell too, so it must have came out of from down around the river and up, and was hitting garbage cans and stuff.
Oh,
that's the only thing I can think of.
yeah, they might have been rummaging for food or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Just rummaging for some other wild animals in Farrell.
Yeah.
Or a couple crack dealers. I don't know. But no, seriously. So that, and we've had reports on up the river that Jamie has gotten about Dogman. So I believe they're running along the river.
And I do believe that they, Dogman, Bigfoot, I believe they use, and I talked to you about it, I think they use these rivers like we use our highways. They know they can sneak in and out through towns. Yeah. I mean, these rivers, and when you look at the layout, that's the first thing I did when I got up here. I got a map and looked at all the rivers and the ponds and connected, which God knows how many lakes and rivers are in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. I mean, I can dig a hole in the backyard and get 3 ponds pop up.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. But now, a friend of mine, Chad Lewis, we always do the event over there at the Van Meter Festival in Van Meter, Iowa, about a bat-winged creature it's seen back in 1909 that terrorized the town for a week. But we go there. He has beautiful books. I'm not a big reader. That's my worst subject in school, reading and writing. Yeah. And I still don't mispronounce words all the time. But I'm good at math. I guess that's why I had a glass business, because I can read a tape measure without looking at it twice most time. But yeah, I started getting in these books and stuff and reading them. And I don't like long, dragged out stories. So a bunch of little short stories. Recently, I've been doing that for the last 5 years. Right. And I started reading his books, and I know him very well, but they are so intriguing. But he wrote about some type of creature, kind of like a dog man. I think he called it a hellhound, but it's similar. Down where we researched, down by Spring Valley, Minnesota. This would be, I believe, Forestville Park. He wrote about people camping in the late season where there ain't too many campers. That's why they did that. I think it was like early October. And they ran into something that looked like one of these dogman creatures, and it actually gashed a guy in his arm when he peeked his head into the trailer. But they were out. I can tell you the story real quick. They were sitting there having a bonfire. They pulled their trailer there, unhooked it from their truck, and we're going to camp out for the weekend for a couple of days because there's nobody there. It's October. Right. It's colder, so that's what they wanted. And they went ahead and were sitting around the fire, and in the nighttime, and just having a beer and doing what guys do. There's 3 of them, and all of a sudden, a dead rat, not a mouse, but a rat, came flying from the tree line. They heard something scurrying around at first, I think. That's how the story goes. They heard something moving around, and a little old guttler, can't even say that word, a little growl, and then this thing was moving around a little bit, and it was quiet. And all of a sudden, a dead rat came flying up by the fire they had. And they were like, the heck, a rat? And they looked at it, and picked it up and said, you guys knock it off, whoever's doing that. They thought it was just people messing with them. Well, about 5 minutes later, they just continued like, whatever. And another rat came flying at them. Oh, that's God. 2 now. So now they're like, you guys, they go, I don't know. So they stood up and they're looking around. And next thing you know, they heard some more growling and like some strange growling of some type, deep. So they threw the rats back, and they were spooked, thinking that maybe this animal or whatever it is, there was playing with them, which didn't make any sense because a bear can't throw a rat, but they thought they threw it back and leave them alone. And they didn't hear nothing for a little bit after that, so they figured whatever it was satisfied, or who knows. Right. So they went into their trailer, and we're going to play cards and have a couple more beers. So, they did that, and about 20 minutes later, 30 minutes, whatever it may be, I don't remember exactly on the story because it's in a book, they started hearing that growl again, and then some bumping on the trailer they were sleeping in, or pooled or whatever. I don't know how big it was either. I don't know. But all of a sudden they said this thing started shaking it, and it started rocking back and forth, almost coming off its wheels. And they could hear screaming and growling, and they were spooked. One guy And the reason I'm saying this, I'll get to in a minute. He was cleaning the toilet while the other two were playing cards with one of them brushes, with the chemical. And the thing was shaking. He goes, "What the heck's that?" And he had this in his hand. So I guess the shaking stopped, and he didn't hear no noise for a minute. So the guy said, "I'm gonna look out." And he goes, "Don't open." So they opened the trailer door, and this wolf head peeked his head in. And it was massive, just a big, giant, looked like a werewolf or something, with ears pointed up, long snout. And he hit it with that brush, but it scratched at him. It had like 3 claws, and it ripped his this side forearm open. And he had to get stitches later. And he hit that with that brush, and it backed off. And he shut the door and locked it. And it shook the trailer a little more, growled, and then it eventually they could hear it disappearing in the forest. And he said the only thing he can think of later was when he was hitting that whatever it was, creature of some type, with that brush. It had chemicals on it. He thought maybe that. The chemicals maybe got in the snout and,
right.
got him out of there. Just, it didn't like the smell.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so they waited, a little bit. I don't know how long, 15, 20 minutes. They didn't hear it. It sounded like it disappeared, went back in the forest. So they ran out of there, got in their truck, and took off out of that park. Now, we're only 15 miles, even if that, in our research area, we've been down for the last 2 years in Spring Valley, from that site where this happened.
Right.
So, and there's all kinds of, tall hills and forest and creeks and a lot of caves around that area. It's a driftless area. Right. So when they were motoring out of this park, they're almost to the entrance. This thing came back out of the bushes and jumped on their truck.
Oh.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they sped up and hit the brakes, and this thing tumbled over the hood and fell off, and they went around it and got the hell out of there. Went to the local police station. They weren't drunk. According to the story, I guess they only had a few beers, so it wasn't like they were drunk. And, of course, the police said, "Oh, you seen a bear or maybe a stray wolf came through. You guys better get out of here. You've been drinking, or we'll arrest you. Just go back and sleep it off." They didn't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So when they came back, when they went to, they didn't go back, but they went back the next day to pick up their belongings. I guess they ran into a farmer on the way, and they stopped him and asked if explained to him what happened. He goes, "Oh, you seen him?" He goes, "Yeah, just don't shoot him and leave him alone. But yeah, they're around here." And so they got confirmation from a farmer that he knew about these type creatures. So it's very, very odd. But again, we're down right in that area where this happened.
Sound like that farmer is cohabitating with them.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I gathered too.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. I wouldn't want him around. But to each your own.
So when I'm walking down there by myself at 3:30 in the morning, I better start thinking about that.
We're going all together next time.
Yeah, she got on to me. I said, "I'll make sure that's always been my motto is, you don't go by yourself.
Well, John, I always take someone a little slower than me.
Yeah, that'll help, definitely.
But no, seriously, you're right. You, especially at nighttime researching, you shouldn't go alone. But anyhow, I got to throw up a couple little things here real quick. Then we're going to go through your pictures. So,
yeah, I got a lot of pics. I just was on the road, so I sent a few.
A few?
Well, I got about probably 5,000.
Yeah. But here, let me do this. I'm going to put up the list of sponsors we have for my Penn Ohio Paranormal Conference. We got 2 levels, the cryptid and the outer space. And here's our cryptid sponsors. The Sharon Hot Dog Shop, right downtown Sharon. Best gyros in the world. They cut it right off the spit. Ghost Chick. Allegheny Cellar Wineries. They are the wine of the conference. They will have a commemorative bottle for us that they'll be selling. So get your commemorative bottles. Crowtown Squatchers, Full Circle Body Arts, and Squatch TV. Now our outer space level, Sasquatch Experience. Now those guys are awesome. They got their podcast. Let me tell you, very, very knowledgeable guys. Yes, I support them 110%. Got Knockers. Yes, Got Knockers. Go to gotknockers.org. Get your got knockers. There, Glenn. I hyped you up. Middlesex Diner, West Middlesex, Pennsylvania. Great breakfasts. Great. They're open 24 hours on the weekend. So if you come in town on a Friday night, you need something to eat late, Middlesex Diner. C-SETI 5, Shenango Meditation, and the Penn, Ohio Bigfoot Feet Field Evaluation team. But Ryan O'Shea, our media partner, and Gary Overfield. Appreciate all our sponsors. They're awesome. If it wasn't for them, it'd be kind of hard to put this event on. And I'm having a lot of great responses coming to it. One of the guys I went out with, I said I always go out with someone slower.
Sure. Sure.
My man Sparky. I may be slower than you, Bill, but I'll trip your ass. He would too.
That's funny.
I love Sparky. He's awesome. But yeah, our sponsors for the event, I'm very thankful for them. A great group. I really didn't expect that many sponsors, to tell you the truth. But we got them, and they're helping. I expect at least 1,000 people coming through again this year.
That's great.
Last year.
That's great. And, I did a lot of events. My brother had a car club, like I told you.
Yeah.
And, in our hometown of Wattsville, it was, we donate a lot, nonprofit. But it's a lot of work to do any event. I mean,
oh, my God, yes.
Even when you're just being a vendor, to bring all your stuff and bring it all back and set up, it takes time.
And I keep the rate pretty cheap for my vendors. Last year was $25. This year's $40, but I won't go no higher.
Yeah. And that's reasonable. I've seen some where they want $175 a table. It's like, yeah.
I think West Virginia is $300.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's no way in hell I'd pay that.
And I'll tell you, I've had people want to go out with us in the woods, and do you charge? And I'll be at events. I said, I don't. I just like it for the experience and have other people to experience it themselves and enjoy it. I'm not about it for the money. I'm all about it. Even when I sell my little swag I have, I sometimes I just break even. I just want to bring something out there. Somebody wants to buy some of our shirts, they can, and hang out. And I love all the stories and all the info, and you meet new friends and you meet new areas of research at times.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, they are. These conferences, I enjoy them. Not as much as I enjoy the woods, but I enjoy them because I learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
The ones I attend, and vending at a couple. I do vend at a couple of them. Well, one's the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. I'm doing it again this year. I was there last year. But I broke even. But the reports I got was awesome.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That made up.
Amazing.
And the stuff I'm selling is to pay for my gas. I'm not making big money off this shit. So,
no.
You know that as well as I do.
Yeah, time you get your motel, gas.
Yeah.
And you bring your stuff that you buy. If I'm lucky, I break even. Once in a blue moon, I might make 50 to 100, but that just gives a little money to eat on basically while we're there.
Yeah.
And I usually buy other stuff from other vendors because I like some of their material, to read when I go home. So it's very interesting. And
that's the problem. I'm going to be at a Ohio Bigfoot Conference. That's going to cost me money because of the other vendors. I'm going to be up in Forest County, Pennsylvania, which had 10,000 people come through on a Saturday.
Holy cow. Wow.
I'm one of the speakers there, so I'll have a table set up. But they just posted yesterday, all the vendors and food truck spots are taken. And I heard they added a few more spots. And that's like, holy shit, they had over 100 spots there last year.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. But the thing is, Forest County Festival donates that money back into the community.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. I'm
Yes.
all for that.
Yes.
Yeah, my dad was a fish and game commissioner out in the West Coast, Santa Cruz County, for 18 years, and he ran the Shark Derby too, out where Jacques Cousteau and Monterey Bay there. And
Yeah.
I enjoyed going. That was like a treat. And we were always out fishing. My dad loved to rock fish, so we'd walk miles down, and he knew the tides. He was full-blooded Apache, so when you get out there, he'd go out on a rock and another rock, and it was dangerous out there. And then you're on a rock about 75 feet wide and long around, and then the high tide comes in. Now you got about 50 feet, and you're sitting on this until the high tide goes, until the low tide comes back in, and you get off the rock. But you fish for that 2 hours. But he knew his tides, and we'd go fishing out there, and you're stuck on that rock until that tide goes back out.
Oh,
But,
wow.
man, he was daring. I can't. He was my age doing this stuff, and my mom, hopping around like a billy goat. But some of the lean caught and capizone, the fish we caught, oh my God, just amazing. And to carry that back up about a mile up to your car, not fun.
I bet not. I bet not.
But that meat is delicious.
Yeah, that's like deer hunting here in the mountains of Pennsylvania. I used to go deep into the woods, and I mean deep. And you get a deer way back in, up and down those hills and valleys, and I don't do that anymore. Not unless I got a young guy with me. I'm not driving that. That's going to be out.
Yeah, he can hike it out right. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun to be out in the woods. I don't venture. I mean, I got lung issues, but I still get out there. I just do it at my own pace. I'm not gonna, run out and run back. Now, if something was to come at me like I seen the last time in '97, if I ever see another one that close, you might see me run till I'm out of breath. Because that's cool. But I don't even think running would be good from these creatures. But I do love. We love to get out and hike, fish. We're very outdoorsy. I like flying my drones. I've been in the RC hobby since a kid. I still got some old gas airplanes with U control.
Oh, wow.
I got some I built, balsa ones I got hanging up here, and I love just to look at them. They've never been flown. They're from the 50s and 60s. So I love all that stuff. And I love squatching. Squatching is right up my alley.
Oh, I enjoy it. And I enjoy getting out with other researchers, too. And how they research. And that's, like I said, a week ago, this past Sunday, I was out with Wes and Jamie. And that was so awesome. I really enjoyed it. And I really wanted to get out with Les. Yep. We've been trying to get out together for 2 years, I think, now. And he called me and says, "What are you doing?" Well, this week, I'm going for a stress test Tuesday. I got another doctor's appointment, and I got a job to do later this week. He says, "No, today." I'm like, "Nothing." He says, "Well, I was headed to Salt Fork, but I'd rather come up in your area. Come on up."
Right?
Come on up. Yeah. So
it's sometimes it's hard to correlate schedules because I know I got a lot of people around here. Dan Nadrello is a good friend of mine. We do hook up once in a while. We have been out of the woods once together, and he's been out to my research area, and we'll be doing that again sometime soon. Other people have talked to me around the area. We're real good friends with She Squatchers. So whenever we get up to north. Whenever we get up north to hang out, and do an event, they're usually there at Reamer, Minnesota, the home of Bigfoot. Yeah. So we get to visit, and then our friend Abe Del Rio puts on the Minnesota Bigfoot conference. I love that one too. So we all try to hook up there and hang out. And I just, Doug Hijack, he usually comes up, and it's just a lot of fun. But I love the area I'm in because I'm only an hour from the Iowa border south. I'm in the driftless area on the edge. And then you got Wisconsin about an hour to the east. And, I just can't beat the area because I can go in the surrounding. And Illinois ain't too far in the, the top corner, So
South Dakota isn't either.
No, Dakota's on the opposite way. So Canada ain't too far up either. We've been up to Rainy Lake, camped out with Tammy from the Sea Squatchers and a couple other friends. for a whole week, and that was fun. But we were only a half mile from you can look at the border. It says Canada right there, on the lake.
Yeah.
We got buoys, and that was fun. But it's a neat area, and I miss my hometown of California. I mean, I grew up 10 miles from the ocean, so you can go 15 minutes that way.
You were saying that time we were talking on the phone here.
Yeah, you can go this way to the ocean or that way to the redwoods. Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
I used to live in Indiana County, Pennsylvania, which is 2 hours directly east of me.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm on the Ohio PA line. You go out my front door and turn and look left, take a stone and throw it 3 houses up, you hit Ohio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so you're close.
Yeah, we're real close to Ohio. But
you're close.
But I lived in Indiana County, and when actually, you jumped across the Conemaugh River was Bolivar, and I worked for the borough of Bolivar. Total population is 972.
Wow. A little bigger than my town.
Yeah, just a little. But they have, basically we were right at Chestnut Ridge in that area.
Right.
Which is a very big footy area. And I loved it there. We moved back here to help with the grandkids and that. And I miss it. But I wouldn't change the situation here for anything with the grandkids.
Right. I remember you saying that. It's the grandkid. We have ours over every other week, and she gets out my little SLS. Look, Grandpa, I see a person over here standing.
Papa.
Yeah, she called me Papa. Papa, look over here. And then he'll say, whoop, have the voice. He'll start talking to her, and she'll just get scared and come running to me and hug me. It's talking to me. And sometimes it sounds like it is talking to her.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Asking direct questions, and she gets a direct answer back. But there is a lady that passed away in this house when I bought it back in 2005. And there was a little trunk up in the attic that I found old World War II letters. And finally, about 8-9 years ago, some lady knocked and said, "Oh, do you know if you found a trunk?" I said, "I did." And it had my mom's dress in it. So I went and got it out of the attic and gave it to her. Right. And now I was gone one day overnight. And April, we were very rare apart. Been together 21 years this August. But she was alone here.
And I was kind of scared.
And she was scared. And she looked in the room we're in now, because our other bedroom's straight across from us here, this side.
Right.
And she seen a lady with gray permed hair, a gray sweatshirt, and she was dusty.
Gray and black sweatshirt.
And she was just smiling at her. And April couldn't believe what she was seeing. She's like, "What the heck am I seeing?" And of course, she looked again, and it wasn't there. She wasn't there. So the lady knocked on the door many years later. And like I said, "Oh, yeah." So I gave her the box. She said, "By the way, my mom passed away. She had cancer." And I go, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. She passed away in the house here." And I go, "What?" And then I go, "By the way, what'd your mom look like? I'm just curious." She was a little thin thing before she died. She was kind of frail. She always had her hair permed up, kind of grayish, and she wore a gray sweatsuit a lot. She liked the color gray. And I looked at April and I got chills. That's exactly what April's seen. Yeah. So when my granddaughter comes in here and starts ghost hunting, she says someone's talking to her. It's a possibility there is someone talking.
Yeah, I'll guarantee it.
And I know when I get a little upset, maybe I'm just doing something and I'm
a project working on downstairs or something.
And I'm, shooting out of my mouth a little bit because I'm not having a good time with it. I'll go back downstairs and my electric drill will be moved or something will be moved. And I said, "Leave my stuff alone."
No, you were blaming me because you said I moved it.
Yeah, I thought she did, but I'm beginning to realize that if I open my mouth too much, she's going to let me know and move my stuff.
Yes, very much so. All right,
she's on my side.
Yep.
April knows how to keep you in check, though.
Yeah, that's right.
After 21 years.
That's it.
Now, all right, I'm going to start bringing up some of these pictures because it's getting kind of late on here.
Sure.
The structure here.
Yep, that was out in one of our areas that we found. It's just don't know if it was man-made or put together by something else. I'm just not sure. We just took a picture of it. Seen it, and
that's a lot of branches put on that.
Yeah, it is. It was built pretty good. Some of them looked intertwined on a couple of ours. I got plenty of them that looked like bushcraft. I didn't even know what bushcraft was till a couple of years ago. I knew it. Someone had built some of these smaller ones, and you could tell because they're evenly built.
Right.
Some of them look like they're just mixed together. And I ran right down the road here. I seen a tree that was ripped off. There was about a good 35-foot tall, and then moved and laid against another tree. And I'm like,
Right.
that don't make any sense.
Yeah, right.
And this one here looks like a hunter's blind.
Yeah, that's a smaller one. So I'm just showing you some differences. Not
Right.
all of them are. Some are, you could tell that's done by definitely a person or human or whatever you want to call it.
Right. Exactly.
Some of them are, I don't know.
Is it legal to do that there for hunting?
You know,
'Cause-
I don't hunt here. I used to hunt, and when I was in California, I've only hunted here once, so I'm not sure on the laws. Something I don't feel like cleaning deer, and I'm fishing is my thing.
Right. Right. Because here in PA, that's illegal, even though they still do it.
Sorry, someone beeped
And-
in. Yep,
And
that's
here's
that
April
one
standing in
again.
front of the line.
Yeah, and I think that one again, I put for reference. That one I think is done by a person. It's V'd, so they utilize the tree and stacked everything up. But it's still, I'm just showing you some of the stuff we find and the differences.
Right. But this
That one I don't know. That one I took a picture by, and that one's kind of different. It's tall. I don't know. I just don't know how, what. No rhyme, no reason, but it's interesting.
and it's pretty.
I'm
covered up.
almost 6
Oh,
foot.
yeah.
I'm like 5'11" and
Yeah.
3/4, so you can get the height of it
But
from that.
yeah, but the thing is, look how thick it is.
Yeah, it's
It's
very
really
thick.
thick. Yeah.
Yeah. A hunter wouldn't make it that thick.
No.
No, it was very interesting. That's us kind of peeking around in it.
Yeah. And there's April photobombing.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I could stand up clearly in that structure you just seen. It's
Yeah.
you could probably fit a good family of 6 in it. And this is just something we find piled up, and I'm like, well, let's take a picture. I don't know. It's just why it's there. No, this is an area that I researched. I didn't put our research area because I don't want a lot of people have to, just in case they want to go
Right.
down and look around. But if you look down where them sightings are, I think that was a Bigfoot mapping project. Yeah, it was. See the BMP. So we're somewhere around by that 28 on top or whatever number is it. I can't see because I'm on a phone, of course. But this is 2 sightings and a footprint found, and that's that's probably about 3 miles from our research area, 3 to 4 miles.
Wow.
So we're right above that, and there's creeks, bluffs, farms, farmlands, a lot of creeks. And this actually feathers down. If you go south from them sightings, that feathers into where that dogman type creature was at Forestville Park I told you, where
Right.
my friend
right.
wrote about. That's further down. You go up on top where we researched is right above, and there's woods there too and creeks. That's where they've seen the 9-foot tall Bigfoot, which is not too far from these sightings. They've seen a Black Panther, and they've also seen a 10-foot tall Bigfoot type creature. And one of the pictures I'm trying to get access to, when they were selling off there's a lot of land there. I told you about 500 acres of private land. And they
Right.
they sold a couple of them off in 10-acre plots, which I know all the farmers are now from going out and having, the parties out in the farm sometimes. But when they were surveying it back in the 90s to sell these off, I think it was late 90s if I remember right. And you can't get to it now, it's all overgrown, but there's a little pond and a dam there that comes off the river. And one of the farmer's sons told me that, and he's in his 40s, told me that one of the pictures, they thought they caught a bear, which is unusual down that area. But on the second picture, when they were taking pictures to sell these lots off, they were taking pictures of the area. The second picture, it's standing up like a human, and it looks like an ape. And it's about almost 10 foot tall, he guesstimated it.
Wow.
So now that's 2 Bigfoot sightings, and then these ones down below. That's something I told you. I think it could be a possible figure. This was when I went down by myself to retrieve that camera, and they told me
Right.
not to go. And I went down there and this camera, I tie mine. I don't use that strap and loop it around. So I tied it and I was holding a flashlight trying to get it loose, and it was being a booger, and it just was tied too tight. Finally got it loose after about 5 minutes, and then backed off. There's a creek right there, and it's dry, and it sounds like glass when you're walking. Big, giant, rocks. They're flat, so it makes the rocks. It's all anyway. So I backed off, and I heard something which I thought was a deer. It sounded like something moving up there, and I thought, probably a deer. But there was something, and it sounded big, and it kept moving around. So it stopped, and then I stopped. And then when I started walking away, it seemed like it was moving with me, which threw me off. And it kind of spooked me, because that's when I got really spooked. So I snapped a couple pictures, and then I started singing a little bit, and I started walking. You got to walk down this creek, and it's a gradual uphill. It's gradual up, you gradually incline going up. And I got asthma and bronchitis all my life, so it gets to me a little bit when I'm continuously going up. Yes. So I'm huffing and puffing, and I did record myself, but I don't want anybody to hear me huffing and puffing and singing some crazy songs. And I stopped, and one of them you can hear me going out of breath, going, "Oh, okay," and it sounds like you hear something in the background, but whatever it was flanked me and was following me a little bit back up the hill. What it was, I don't know.
But I had something like me the one time too, and that's the first time I talked to Jamie King too, because it kind of freaked me out a little bit, because I could hear it but I couldn't see it. So.
Right, and what happened with me was where we camp and cleaned out this area toward where we camp, but a quarter mile into this area, as you're going up, there's a ravine that comes down to, and it's like a V. It starts off right where my tent is against the woods, and it starts off there and slowly V's down to about 100 until you got like 100-foot cliff on each side, 75 one side, 100. So, and then that V's out to the creek that goes down below. So this thing, as I'm walking on one side of the ravine, it's on the opposite side, kind of flanking me a little bit, for not for a while, just for a little while, because I was walking up. The more I made noise and got further away, it seemed like I finally didn't hear it no more. But it flanked me for a good 5 to 10 minutes until I didn't hear it no more. But it was moving with me for a little bit. When I'd stop, it would stop, which kind of freaked me out. Yeah, and this is 4 a.m., Bill. So damn well. And this is private land. I don't see no crack addicts or anybody out there, or hunters or anything being out in this land. But I did snap a few pictures, and that was one of them. And then I made my way back up to the camp, and I told everybody, I think something's following me, but I didn't really realize any of the pictures till I put them on my smart TV, started going through them, and I said, what the heck is that? And I noticed that. And I said, that looks, and now that area, I think I send you a daytime picture and a nighttime picture. It's about 15 feet up in the tree, so it looked to me like something was kind of had its arms spread out, hanging out, and then looking down. But whether it was or wasn't, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting pic.
Yeah, and it was too. And I'm very poor at taking pictures. And that's why I enjoy going out with Jamie, Gwendolyn Purcell. They're photo hounds. Rupert's wife, Carrie, boom, 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 boom. They take pictures of everything, which is great documentation. I'm lousy at it. I'm too busy inspecting things and checking things out that I'm not taking pictures.
Right.
And I've been trying to get my mindset to take a picture of everything you see. I just can't do it. But anyhow, it's 8:06. We're going to get going here. I'm going to have you back on again here, maybe May.
Yeah, sounds good. We'd gladly come back on, and we want to try to make it up sometime to your area, and you're always welcome to come down here and hang out. We got a nice place to camp.
Yeah. It might be this year, but I doubt it, because the way my summer's about booked up, especially August. Man, it got slammed. I don't know how I did that one. But our starts from May, June, because I told you we know a lot of people in the rock and roll area, business. So we hang out and like we love music. Just about as much as we like our Bigfooting and our squatching, but
and ghost hunting.
Yeah, when we get time. But yeah, we'll definitely try to make it back on and share some stories. Maybe, we can relay a lot more stories. I got a lot of reports as of late, so we can go into some of them and go from there. But it's been a pleasure to come on and meet you and talk to you, and we'll keep in touch.
I loved it. And thank you, John and April, both for doing this. Thank you, audience, for jumping on and watching. And Sparky, I ain't going to outrun your ass. You'll just snag me up. He's twice my size. He'll just snag me up and hold me back. Say, here. But yeah, you guys have a great one. I want to thank everybody, and we will talk to you all real soon.
Keep it squatchy.
This has been an Agents of the Unexplained original podcast. Like us on Facebook, subscribe and view on YouTube, and please visit our store link in the bio. Thank you for listening, and remember that paranormal is